It begins at a beauty pageant where a girl named Helen wins Crocker Queen with three of her friends: Barry, Julie, and Ray cheering her on. Barry is Helen's boyfriend and is really proud of her for winning, while Ray is dating Julie. They head to a beach party to celebrate, but get into a fight with Max, who is hitting on Julie. So they leave and go to the secluded part of the beach. Four of them alone on a beach sit around a small fire and start talking about a guy with a hook who escapes from a mental asylum and starts killing people. Soon, they stop telling stories and split into two couples. Each couple walks off, talking about what will happen to their relationship when they go to different colleges. Later that night, the group makes a bad decision. Barry, the one who drove them to the beach, is drunk. So Ray offers to drive them back. Barry acts wild and stands up through the sunroof. Ray looks away for a second while driving on a cliffside road. That's when the car hits something. They stop the car, shocked. At first, it looks like only the car is damaged. But then they see blood, and it's not from any of them. They walk down the road and find a man lying still. Ray checks, but the man isn't breathing. They think he's dead. They panic. Barry is scared the police will blame him because he was drinking. He doesn't want his life ruined. Even though Ray was driving, they all worry they'll get in trouble. So, they decide to hide what happened. They agree to throw the man's body into the ocean. Just then, Max shows up. He talks to them for a moment, but leaves soon, not noticing anything strange. At the dock, Julie wants to check who the man is, but the others want to get rid of the body fast. While they're about to push the man into the water, he suddenly moves. He's still alive. Julie panics and hits him, making him fall into the water. As he falls, he grabs Helen's tiara. Barry jumps in and gets it back. Then they all leave quickly. They promise each other to never speak about that night again. A year later, Julie returns home. She looks different, quiet and full of guilt. Even her mom can tell something's wrong. Soon after, Julie gets a scary letter. It says, "I know what you did last summer." Julie goes to find Helen, who had moved to New York but came back. They go to Barry to show him the letter. He doesn't care much and says it's probably a bad joke. But Julie feels something is really wrong. She had read the news from last year and found that a man named David Egan was found dead in the water. People thought he drowned by accident, but Julie feels they caused his death. They think Max might have seen something that night. Barry goes to Max's job and threatens him. Later, they meet Ray there too. He's a fisherman. Julie tells Ray about the letter. They talk a little. She tells him not to blame himself and walks away. Matt is working, and suddenly someone kills him with a hook. That evening, Barry is alone at the gym. After working out, he finds a photo of his car in his locker. He runs outside, but someone takes his car and hits him with it. The person is wearing a fisherman's coat and has a hook. The man doesn't kill Barry, but he's badly hurt and very scared. Barry is in the hospital. Julie and the others get there. He tells them what he saw. They think the man might be someone close to David Egan, the man they think they drowned. They go to David's sister's house and pretend to need her phone. While waiting, they ask questions about David and if he had any friends. She tells them he had one friend named Billy Blue. They see a fisherman's coat in her house, which makes them nervous, and they leave. Later, Helen thinks maybe David was so sad about his fiancée's death that he walked into the road on purpose. But Julie doesn't agree. Julie feels her friendship with the group has become weaker. That night, the hookman sneaks into Helen's house. He enters her room and hides in her closet. Helen's sister comes in for a moment, but doesn't see him. The next morning, Helen wakes up and sees her long hair has been chopped off, and her tiara is on her head on the bed. She goes to check her hair in the mirror, and a bloody "soon" is written in red on her mirror. She breaks her mirror and calls Julie. Julie is already on her way. On the road, she hears noises in the trunk of her car. When she opens it, she sees Max's dead body and a bunch of crabs. Terrified, she shuts it and goes to Helen's house. Barry and Helen are there. When they go back to check the trunk, it's clean, no body, no crabs. It's like it never happened. Julie starts shouting, thinking the person behind it all might be watching them. The group realizes someone is messing with them on purpose. On the way back, they meet Ray. Barry quickly blames him for Max's death and punched him, even though he didn't know Max was dead. Ray says he got a letter and he's being targeted too. Everyone's emotions are getting worse. The girls tell them about David's friend named Billy Blue. The girls keep digging for clues and check a yearbook. They find David, but not Billy. But that name doesn't appear in the yearbook. Julie thinks he used a fake name and plans to go to ask David's sister if she knows him from the yearbook. While Helen and Barry go to the town's big parade. Helen had fixed her hair, even though it had been chopped off the night before. As the floats went by and music played, she saw someone in a raincoat. Barry chased the man and tackled him, but it turned out to be just a confused old man. Helen looked around and saw more people in raincoats. Most look harmless, but then she noticed one person standing on a rooftop holding something shiny. It was a hook. She knew it was the real killer. Meanwhile, Julie visited Missy's house again. Missy had a knife in her hand, which made things tense, but she was cutting something and acted normal. They talked about David again. Missy believed her brother had taken his own life and said he left a note. She kept it secret so she could get money from his insurance. But when Julie saw the note, she recognized the writing. It looked just like the scary letter she got. The note said, "I will never forget last summer." That's when Julie told Missy the truth about what happened the summer before. When she mentioned a tattoo on the man's body, Missy looked confused. David didn't have any tattoos. That's when Julie realized something huge. They didn't hit David that night. They hit someone else. She rushed back to town, her mind spinning. That night, Helen had to go to the town pageant to help crown the new beauty queen. Barry promised to watch over her from the balcony above. She was in a room full of people, but she still didn't feel safe. During the talent show, Barry was attacked by the fishermen hiding in the shadows. Helen saw it happen and panicked. She ran off stage to find help, but the audience thought it was just part of the show, and no one listened. A police officer finally stepped in and listened. But when they went upstairs, Barry was gone. No blood, no signs of a fight, just an empty space, but we see blood dripping as they left. The officer thought it was just a prank, but still offered to drive Helen home. On the way, their path was blocked, so they took a dark alley. They saw a parked truck. When the officer stepped out to check it, Helen saw who the driver was. It was the killer. Before she could warn the officer, the man attacked and killed him. Then he came for Helen, who was trapped in the back seat. Helen smashed the window and got out. She ran as fast as she could to her family's store. She banged on the door, hoping her sister Elsa was there. Elsa opened the door. Helen tells her she was being attacked and asks her to lock the other door, as Helen calls the police for help. Elsa goes to lock the other entrance, but the killer was already inside the store. He attacked Elsa before she could lock the door. Elsa screams, and Helen is now trapped alone. She tries to escape. The killer hid under a plastic sheet and jumped out. Helen ran upstairs and jumped out the window to escape. She landed near a dark alley and ran toward the bright main street where a loud band was marching. She was just steps away from safety, but before she could reach the crowd, the killer caught her. She was so close, but it was too late. At the same time, Julie finally figured it out. The person they hit was not David. It was David's fiancé's father, Ben Willis. He had blamed David for his daughter's death and may have killed David himself. Then, after getting hit by the teens and almost drowning, he came back for revenge. Julie told everything to Ray, but then she noticed something that made her afraid. Ray's boat was named Billy Blue, the same name Missy, David's sister, gave them. She thought Ray might be the killer and ran away. A stranger punched him, stopped her, and told her to get on his boat for safety. She agreed, hoping to escape. But once on board, she saw scary things, pictures of her and her friends, newspaper clippings, and photos from the parade. He had followed them, watched their every move, and planned every step. He's Ben Willis. Julie tries to leave, but then Ben shows that he's really the killer. He started the boat and took it far into the water. Julie grabbed a flare gun, but dropped it when the boat moved suddenly. The man chased her around the boat. Ray followed in another boat and climbed on to help. He and the killer fought hard. Julie hid in a storage room, but found the dead bodies of her friends. The killer finds her again, but Ray returns and hits him with part of the boat's rigging. The killer gets back up and tries to attack Julie again, but his hand gets caught in some ropes. Ray pulls a lever. The ropes pulled up, cutting off the killer's hand and throwing him into the water. Later, the police came. All they found was the hook hand. The killer's body was missing. They thought it might show up later. But Julie doesn't believe it was over. She knew the man had survived worse. A year later, she's taking a shower in her college, and she goes out as someone says a letter has come for her. But when she gets back, she sees, "I still know," written on the shower mirror. To others, he looked like a man in a raincoat. But to Julie, he was something far more dangerous, a man who wouldn't stop until he got what he wanted. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you did, let me know, and I'll show you how this movie continued. Make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to watch many more such cool recaps. And hit the bell icon too. Bye.